The stock market crashed. How Hoover responded to it. Today's objective is I can describe the events of the stock market crash of 1929, President Hoover's response, and the effect these events had on American life. Okay, I want you to look at this picture, and then in your notebooks, I want you to complete a see, think, wonder chart, just as the one you see on the screen. And in the see, I want you to write two things that you see. What do you see or notice about this picture? And when you write it, start with my eyes, I see. Okay, because I only want you to focus on with your eyes what you can see. And once you've wrote those two things down, then I want you to write your think. What do you think about this picture? I think that, And I want you to write two things down about what you think that's going on in this picture. And the last of what I want you to do is your wonder. What do you wonder about this picture? What questions do you have? And you're going to write down two wonders, and you're going to start them out with I wonder. Okay, pause the video so you can write down your thoughts and observe the picture. All right, guys. Today, we're going to read about the stock market crash and what happened. Okay? And how the president at the time handled the stock market crash and how his decisions affected American life. So here we go. The stock market crash of 1929 and its impact. The crash. At the end of the 1920s, Americans were loving the economy and entertainment that the decade had to offer. However, on October 29th, 1929, that all came to a screeching halt. When the stock market crashed in 1929, many people had bought stocks with money they had borrowed. Those stocks had been over speculated, meaning they were believed to be worth more than they really were. With those things together, people could not repay the money they had borrowed. Since that money could not be repaid, lots of banks began to fail, and the banking system eventually collapsed. In addition, many businesses failed, leading to record unemployment. These problems were the start of what we know today as the Great Depression. Here's what I would like for you to do. I just read the first section of an article. In your notebook, I want you to draw a picture of what you just read or what you just heard. And then I want you to write three details that were important events that happened in this section of the article. And draw your picture that you're going to draw. It should help you to remember those three important details. Okay, pause the video. All right, we're going to move right on to the next section. Hoover, he did what? Once the stock market crashed, many Americans looked to the government for support. The president at the time was Herbert Hoover. Hoover was a successful businessman before he became president and believed that the economy would fix itself. He thought that Americans would be better off if they didn't rely on the government for help. Also, he believed the government should not interfere and that businesses would eventually spark the economy. The president encouraged businesses to continue production and not to lay off workers, but he never used the power of the federal government to help with this situation. He did not solve any of the problems caused by the Great Depression, such as the extreme poverty and record low unemployment. Okay, again, you're going to do a little split screen, just like you did in the first paragraph with this paragraph. In your notebook, you're going to write down the big ideas, the important details, at least 3 of them. And then I want you to sketch or draw a picture that matches what you said are the important details. So pause the video. You can reread this or you can rewind it and listen to me read it again. And then write your ideas down. Okay, pause the video. Okay, welcome back. Impact on Americans. The stock market crash sparked the Great Depression. The crash, coupled with the inaction of President Hoover, had a widespread and severe impact on American lives during this time. This was very different from the fun and free feeling of the Roaring % As businesses closed, millions of Americans became unemployed. Nearly 25% of Americans, or 12 million people, did not have jobs. Farmers' income fell very low as well. Many people were left homeless and unable to feed their families. The collapse of the banks also led to a deep distrust of the banking system for an entire generation of Americans. This was the longest span of American poor economic activity in the 20th century. These impacts lasted well into the 1930s and even the 1940s. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to do a split screen. One side, you're going to write the big ideas and the important details of this section of the text, and then I want you to draw a matching picture. When you are finished, this is what your paper is going to look like. You're going to have illustrations or drawing on one side, and you're going to have the big ideas or the important details on the other. Okay, once you have finished, then I want you to click on the social studies link in the welcome back Titans box, and I want you to read that article and answer the questions in the circle it and fill it in boxes. All right, have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.